Welcome to Pivotal Moments HQ. On this episode, we will get an update from our first guest, Megan Robaina, who recently underwent a milestone procedure. We encourage you to check out episodes 6 and 7 to hear more about his journey.
So this is a special Pivotal Moments update episode that we're super excited. Thank you so much for being here, Megan.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to update you guys on this process.
So, Melissa, what is the question? What's the update? What's the big thing that we're getting an update on?
Oh my gosh, the big thing is Megan's actually visiting us here in Las Vegas because this is his top surgery. That is the first part of his transition.
I had my top surgery on November 4th, so we're about a week out.
And he's graced us with his presence on the show. How generous and nice of him, right?
Yes, very much so. Thank you. How are you feeling?
Good. Every day has been a little bit different, depending on, the first day I was super medicated. The second day, really medicated as well. So today has been the first day of like a lot of energy. I'm feeling good. I feel like I'm starting to transition back to not just healing, but being like here and aware and awake. So yeah, it's feeling good.
I do have a question. So we've shifted this focus on the podcast from just talking about stories of people's, these huge events and stuff to really just focusing on like empowerment and looking at what led you to this surgery. I mean, can you talk a little bit about it and like how has that maybe empowered you or started the empowerment process?
Yeah. I guess because it was so difficult to get this surgery and I had to jump through so many hoops, it forced me to prioritize myself. And something that was really difficult for me to do, to say that this was worth fighting for and worth struggling to get. So within that process, I found myself taking up more space, finding it easier to not demand, but make my needs felt and to make sure that they were met, which is something that I had a hard time doing before. So I think just all in all, prioritizing myself because I was going to have to be the one to get myself here has been really, really empowering. Now I feel like I can ask for what I want and that my needs have value and deserve to be met. That's a big thing that I guess I didn't really think about until you guys started talking about how this has shifted to empowerment. I was like, you know what, it has. It's slowly but surely I've become more confident in asking for what I need. And that was, I think, through this.
That's wonderful to hear, especially knowing that it's you advocating for yourself and your needs, which was a big theme last time we talked. Right now, though, are you feeling empowered coming out of the other end of the surgery?
Yeah, I think it's kind of still surreal. I don't think that I haven't been able to take the bindings off yet. Actually, tomorrow I'm getting the drains out. So I do have drains still inside of me, which is a little bit uncomfortable. I haven't been able to see my chest yet, but just doing it for myself and taking that step, I do feel it was surreal. I didn't, when I got off the plane, came to Vegas, didn't really feel it until I was like sitting in the OR, like right before they like wheeled me in. I was like, oh my God, this is happening. So I think it'll be a little bit more monumental when I actually see myself and it's happened versus right now. I'm still really bound up, wrapped up. I have drains and stuff. So I do feel good, but I think once that I see that for the first time, it's really going to change it.
You're really glowing though. I mean, I just want to say that like you have this just energy about you. And I know that you have been in pain and, you're in healing and recovery, but you really do just light up in a way that I don't think I saw last time. So congratulations.
Thank you. Even just at work, the way that I told them was like, I'm having this surgery and I hope you guys understand how important this was to me. And like how I need the support from my workplace to do this. And they were like, yeah, we totally understand. And no questions were asked. And it was just a very new feeling to take a hold of, like, this is what I'm doing. I need this and it's important. And to not feel like shame about it anymore.
This might sound like a silly question, but I mean, what are you most excited for apart from actually being able to like see your chest for the first time?
I love that question. I had a dream, I think like 2 nights ago, where I went and to the beach and it was raining because I live in Washington and it rains a lot. And it was raining and it was like kind of cold, but I just like took off my clothes and started running around and like feeling the rain on my skin and just like feeling a shirt without a binder, just feeling it on my skin, being able to walk around and feel the sun. Just very like simple. It's not about like a look or anything, but just to be able to like be free in a way that I've never been free.
In a way that you've never been free. That's so powerful. I think people want to feel freedom, and now you'll have that. That's super exciting.
And I waited 25 years for it. And that's one thing, I guess, about the surgery that was hard, was that people didn't consider it like a life-threatening thing, but I do. The life expectancy of trans people is really, really low. And it is, so in that way, it is like life-threatening into like, I have never felt this freedom, even, I haven't even seen it, but I still like am glowing that freedom, that just sense of like belonging to myself, like this is me. That sense of individuality, I think, is so important. So I thank you guys for bringing me on and letting me talk about it. That's really nice.
I'm just excited to see. I mean, as we evolve as people, like the things that we prioritize and the things that we cherish are, change. And I'm curious and excited to see, how being able to walk outside without a shirt on is going to just not change you, but I mean, kind of, even just, you and I went hiking earlier this week, and it was warm, here in Las Vegas. And, being able to have that freedom of, being who you are as a man and being able to, go shirtless, be you,
The choice,
the choice.
the ability to, that's really all it is. Like, we all want that choice. We all want the choices other people have as well. I just ask people to be able to do that. So yeah, I'm excited, and I've been talking with my friends about how big of a change this is going to be for me. Like, I'm maturing because I'm being able to take what I want and ask for it, and go get it for myself. And the ability, yeah, just this ability to choose, that I felt so helpless before and so small. And now I feel just like a cohesiveness. I don't feel like I have to, like, I swam for the first time in a binder when I went to Michigan to visit our cousin. And even then, like, I was doing like backflips so much. I was swimming so hard for the first time that I felt confident enough to even do that in years. And I swam so hard, I lost both my plugs. They came out. I lost them somewhere in a Michigan lake in Michigan. But even that wasn't like full. That wasn't even full freedom. So it's, I guess I normalized how held back I was, and how like stunted I was in certain aspects of like personal autonomy and freedom. And it was normal. So it's kind of to be like, well, what's it going to be like? I have no idea. I've never felt what it's felt like to feel freedom or independence. So I don't know. It's
That,
exciting though.
that is exciting. And you mentioned that it took you 25 years to get to this point. Is there something or a moment that stands out for you that gave you the courage, or to say, this is the day or this is the year I'm doing my top surgery?
Well, I almost had it done before COVID. But something about like the surgeon, once I met the surgeon, I wasn't really too keen on it. Not to say that they weren't adept, but I just didn't feel like it was the right surgeon for me. And then COVID happened. But what it was the fact that my 26th birthday is coming up, and my insurance is gonna change. And I know that that's like really
It's practical.
it's practical, but I'd been wanting it and been wanting it and been wanting it and been putting it off and prioritizing other things. And
Why do you think that you were prioritizing other things above yourself?
because it's of how much it takes to get here. All I had, I'm on temporary disability from work. I had to apply for that. I had to, look up all of these different surgeons, get all these different consultations, try to like get myself in a financial place where I could handle that. So it was in a way practical, but had been like leading up to it. So I think it just the timing, I was like, well, if it's not now, then never. Or at least it's going to be way more difficult. So yeah, now I have the support of my family. I can do it in Vegas and be at the comfort of my home, my mom's home. So it all just kind of worked out. But I don't think that there was like one moment that pushed me to do it now. But once they gave me the dates, and it was like 2 months away, because I had gotten this consultation in like September, they were like, well, what about November? I was like, yes. I just jumped at it. I didn't really think. And then it got closer and closer. I was like, oh shit, this is happening. Yeah. It's a major surgery. I'll be out for 6 weeks.
I know it's probably too soon to even consider what's next, but are you thinking like future forward? Or are you just looking to be like really excited to take off your binder? Are you going to have like a binder burning ceremony? Is that going to be like a thing of empowerment for you?
I do think I'm gonna have a binder burning ceremony. My friends have considered a tits off party, where it's just we celebrate me doing this for myself. But yeah, I think I'm gonna take some time to just like revel in it and just to cherish it, because um, I don't know. I feel like it's too significant, and it's been like an emotional, spiritual process that like. And I'm breaking ancestral curses, I'm doing all of these things, and um I think that I deserve some time to just sit with this and be happy as I am for the first time.
That's amazing, and you're right. You do to revel in this moment and enjoy it without setting the next bar. I'm curious though. What does this surgery open up for you?
For me, it feels like I can finally take ownership of like my manhood and start like being a figure for others. I know like my nephew's growing up, and now he needs, well, doesn't need, but I would like to be able to be a figure in his life more. And I felt like I couldn't really do that before I stepped into my own identity. And I think this is like one of the major ways that I'm stepping into my identity and being able to now I'm not like a child. I'm a young man who can then set examples for other young men, which is huge. Thinking about myself as uh, part of a greater group, which was hard when I was pre-op, I guess.
So you mentioned stepping into your identity. Do you think that this surgery opened the door to a new path that allows you to explore Megan as a man and what that means to you?
I that's kind of a sticky thing, because like what to be a man
Mhm.
isn't like physicality, in my opinion, but it in part expresses itself through physicality. Um, so I think that this would allow me, it's just another part of my masculinity being able to express itself. And yeah, it's hard to not feel secluded when there's parts of you that you quite literally like want to hide, or don't want to show. And I think that that's like an emotional and a physical thing, right? If I physically don't want to show it, then I'm emotionally not really trying to show it. And with this, it's like I even, had like another dream where Forrest, my nephew, asked me, he's like, what are those? I was like, that means that I'm a warrior. Like looking at my scars, like, what do those mean? Like those mean that I fight for myself. Those mean, all of these different things. Like it has more of a meaning than like, oh, like I'm a trans man. Sure, that's what that means, but it means so much more to my identity, and not necessarily just my masculinity, but my identity as a whole, so that I can step up and be a model for others, versus before I felt like I hadn't done enough for myself to model for others, if that makes sense.
Do you feel like this is the first time you're really putting yourself first?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it.
How does that feel? I see you getting kind of teary-eyed.
Well, it's to put myself first in such a major way. It's not like I didn't, take like little steps. I was just like, hey, I'm going first now. This is me. This is about me. And it does, like, whatever comes from it comes from it. This is me going first. Um, so it's I've gotten so much help. I've gotten so much support. I've gotten so much love from people that it was I expected no one to care. I expected it to be, just something within me. But other people have seen it and are like, this is amazing. I'm so happy for you. Like, I'm like, how are you doing today? How's today versus yesterday? Glad you're, not having to take as many medications and stuff. Like, people really see see it and appreciate it, where I thought putting myself first was kind of a selfish thing or something that was just really hard for me to do. But to be like applauded for it is is very different. And I think that's the biggest way that I've grown through this, is to appreciate what it means to take what you need and put yourself first.
I'm glad you were able to do that, to put yourself first, and to see that doing that didn't mean that people were going to withdraw or that you were going to be alone in the process. It sounds like you actually have a very good, healthy support system. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so overwhelmingly good and different. I'm still kind of like, it made me cry the other day. So I was just like, I can't believe how many people want to see me do well and support me in this. Because it's just, I think for so long I felt like ostracized, like outside of the group, and to have people
Like truly see
me and want good for me is so definitely not something I was used to.
That's amazing. So Megan, when you first appeared on our show, first of all, you were our first guest, so you'll always be near and dear to our hearts. Plus, you're my brother, so
I love you.
love you. We received a lot of positive feedback. People were really moved by your story and this journey that you're on. For others that are going through a similar journey, such as yourself, either a trans man, trans woman, someone trying to find their identity, what would you say to them?
What did I say? Fight for yourself. Find others that think the way that you do. Build a community, because that's you're not going to get through it alone. Um, and it's so worth it. It's it's so worth it. Um, like, if other people deserve happiness and freedom, then you definitely do. Um, yeah, I just keep fighting for it. I know it's like tooth and nail, and you will have to fight for it. It's not going to be given to you, and it's not going to be easy. But build a community of people that support you, whether that be on the internet, whatever. Because I know it can be isolating living, in certain areas. But even if that's internet, I mean, some of my internet friends get me through the day. So build a community, fight for yourself, and it's worth it. You're worth it. You deserve it just as much as anybody else.
One last thing, Megan, thank you again so much for your time and, talking to us while you're recovering. Your episode is airing during Transgender Awareness Week, and that leads up to the Transgender Day of Remembrance. And I'm just wondering, how is this time going to be different for you?
again, I think it's like now I'm at a different stage. Like I can be a leader. I can, like you said, like what would I tell people in this transition? Like I was listening to what other people had done, listening to how other people got through it, what their advantages and disadvantages to the way they approached it. And now I can be that for somebody else, which just feels, I was so focused on getting there myself that I didn't even appreciate what it would be to be there for other people. So like how are other people affected by my choices? Now that I'm here, how can I, like you said, not even inspire others, but just like share my story? Like, this is what I did. It's possible. You can do it. You deserve it. It's accessible. Even if it doesn't feel like it, like that's something that I couldn't tell to other people before. I couldn't give them that reassurance. And now, in those like Trans Awareness Month, I can be like, hey guys, here's how it feels. Look at how good it feels. Look at, you can have this too. I just didn't even think about that.
Well, thank you again so much. And I can't wait for you to actually get a chance to see your chest. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to come back now. How long has it been?
Ooh, about a year and a half.
A year and a half. And now I'm finally here. So it's like a year and a half. That year and a half, I didn't stop fighting. Year and a half, I kept with it. So it even if I like pushed it to the side or whatever, it was always that in the back of my mind. So a year and a half now, like to come back and tell you guys like, hey, look, I did it. If I can do it, you can do it.
That's it for this episode. Find us on Instagram at Pivotal Moments HQ for all the behind the scenes and the sister-like banter you know and love. We want to thank our producer and music director, Ron Johnson. This has been an Astronomicus DMR and Pugs Productions podcast.